Hello everyone, welcome back to Chenda DIY, and today's video I'll be showing you how to crochet a crop t-shirt. It is really easy pattern and friendly for beginners, and I'm also showing you how to make this bigger. And if you are new here, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and turn on notification bell so you will notify when I upload the new tutorial. And don't forget to give a thumbs up to help my channel keep growing, and it is also a part motivate me to make more crochet tutorials for you guys. Okay, now let's get into the video. For making this top, you can use any type or any size of yarn and any size of hook. I suggest to use something like soft and lightweight for crochet the top. First, we are start making from the top part. It is the neckline part. I'm making this top in size small. To begin, make a slip knot. For making this top, I'm using 4mm hook. And chain 100. It is equal 20 inches length. It's the measurement around the head. If you guys want it longer, please add more chains. After you got your desired fit, you can form this a square. And this is what your neckline part should look like. And this is the starting point. It must stay at the middle of the square. Make sure that both sides of the square are equal. You can take 100 divided by 4 and it is equal 25 chains each. For you guys that make different size from mine, you can keep adding more chains until you reach the measurement around your head, or you can follow the size that I show on the screen. It's important that you making size medium, so just keep adding more chains until you reach 23 inches length, and then start counting the number of your chains. It's important that it have 150, so you take 150 divided by 4. It is equal 37.5. It means that it's equal 37.5 chains, so we don't have the half stitch or the half chain. You have to minus that half and plus it with the other size number. So for the horizontal line, you have 37 chains, and for the vertical line, you must have 38 chains. Keep in mind that the size that I show on the screen, it is not 100% guarantee that it can fit everybody. So you have to try it on your body again to see the exact fit. Example, for this foundation chains, you can wrap it around your head. Make sure you make it a little bit bigger than your head because we still have put some ribbing around the neckline. Next, we are going to connect the chain together. Make sure that the chain doesn't twist. Slip stitch into the first chain. To make slip stitch, continue insert the hook into the loop. Yarn over and pull through all the loops. So for the slip stitch, we doesn't count as a stitch. So we want this connecting part is at the middle of the square. So I'm gonna count 12 stitches and mark it. Start counting from the next chain. Remember, you must use stitch marker to mark at the 12th stitch, not the 13th stitch. Next, count 25 stitches and use stitch marker to mark at the 25th stitch, or you can count 24 stitches and mark at the 25th stitch. And now you should have 13 stitches left. Like I said, for the slip stitch, we don't count as a stitch. And this is what it looks like. Next, we are going to make half double crochet. For row 1, chain 2. To make half double crochet, yarn over, insert the hook into the loop, yarn over and pull up a loop, and now you have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. Keep repeating this into every stitch until you reach the stitch near stitch marker. Then I will meet you back again. After you reach the stitch near stitch marker, then remove stitch marker and we are going to make increase. By make 2 half double crochet into the same loop. After you got 2 half double crochet, then chain 2, then make 2 half double crochet into the next stitch. And this is what the corner of the square looks like. And for this chain 2 space, it is where we are going to make increase for the next row. Next, keep repeating this by make half double crochet into every stitch until you reach the stitch near stitch marker. Then we are going to make increase again. Keep repeating this around until you reach the chain 2 stitch, then I will meet you back again. After you reach the end of the row, then we are going to make slip stitch into the chain 2 stitch. Next, for row 2, chain 2 and make half double crochet into the same stitch with chain 2. As you can see the small loop that near chain 2, it is the chain 2 loop, and we are going to make half double crochet into this loop. Keep making half double crochet into every stitch until you reach the stitch near chain 2 space, then I will meet you back again. After you reach the stitch near chain 2 space, then we are going to make increase into this chain 2 space by make 2 half double crochet into the chain 2 space. Then chain 2. Then make 2 half double crochet into the chain 2 space. And this is what it looks like. Next, keep repeating this around until you reach the chain 2 stitch, then make slip stitch to connect the row. For the small loop that we made slip stitch, we are going to skip it. Then make slip stitch into the chain 2 stitch. Next, we are going to repeat row 2 until you reach row 11, but we just have some a little bit different at this part. It is the tip that made the slip stitch line go straight. So for this row, we are not making half double crochet into the same stitch with chain 2. We are going to skip it and make half double crochet into the next stitch. And it should look like this. Remember, if we skip this front small loop, for this back small loop or the stitch that we made slip stitch, we have to count it as a stitch. So you have to make half double crochet into this stitch also. If you skip the front small loop and then you skip the back small loop again, the number of the stitch in your row will missing. For the next row, we are going to alternating these two rows by make one row skip the front small loop and one row skip the back small loop. This is how the slip stitch line goes straight. Next, keep increasing until you reach row 11, then I will meet you back again. And this is what it looks like after you reach row 11. As you can see the slip stitch line here, it goes straight. And for the measurement of each side of the square, it is equal 13 inches length. For you guys that want to make it bigger, please keep increasing until you reach this measurement that I show on the screen. Next, fold the square into two pieces. And this is the armhole. For the measurement around my arm, it is equal 13 inches. Keep increasing until you reach your measurement, and then you can try it on your body to make sure that this armhole fit around your upper arm. And this is the body part, and it's also the measurement around my bust. You can keep increasing until you reach your bust measurement. If it fit around your bust measurement, it is also fit around your upper arm too. And this is the neckline part. Next, continue from where your last stitch is. For row 12, chain 2 and make half double crochet into every stitch until you reach the stitch near chain 2 space. Make a half double crochet into the chain 2 space. Then we are going to skip this one side of the square and continue make half double crochet into the next chain 2 space or into the other corner. After you have made a half double crochet into the chain 2 space, then make half double crochet into the next stitch. Keep repeating this into every stitch until you reach the corner or until you reach the chain 2 space. Then I will meet you back again. Then skip one side of the square and we are going to continue make half double crochet into the next chain 2 space. Next, keep making half double crochet into every stitch until you reach the chain 2 stitch, then make slip stitch to connect the row. After you have made slip stitch, next for row 13, chain 2 and make half double crochet into every stitch until you reach the stitch near armhole. We are going to make half double crochet into this space. Keep repeating this around until you reach the chain 2 stitch, then make slip stitch to connect the row. Next, keep repeating row 13 until you reach row 29. Then I will meet you back again. If you guys want your top longer, please add more rows. And this is what it looks like after you reach row 29. For the measurement from row 12 until row 29, it is equal 5.5 inches. It's measuring from underarm to my under bust. This is the bust part. And for this bottom part, I want it to fit around my under bust. So I'm switched the 4mm hook into the 3mm hook. It's just about few rows at my under bust part. As you can see, the shape is curved inside a little bit. Next, we are going to make the ribbing panel around the bottom of the top. I'm using 3mm hook the same. To begin, continue from where your last stitch is and chain 9. If you guys want the ribbing higher, you can add more chains. After you got 9 chains, next we are going to make single crochet. For row 1, skip 1 chain and make single crochet into the next chain. To make single crochet, insert the hook into the loop, yarn over and pull up a loop, and now you have 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through all the loops. Keep repeating this into every chain until the end of the row, then I will meet you back again. After you reach the end of the row, then we are going to make slip stitch into the half double crochet stitch. After you have made a slip stitch, then make another slip stitch into the next stitch. Next, row 2, turn your work. And we are going to skip 2 stitches that we made slip stitch. And start making single crochet back loop only into the 3rd stitch. To make single crochet back loop only, you just pick and make single crochet into the back loop and skip the front loop. Keep repeating this into every stitch until you reach the end of the row, then I will meet you back again. Next, for row 3, chain 1. Turn your work and make single crochet back loop only into every stitch until the end of the row, then I will meet you back again. After you reach the end of the row, then we are going to make slip stitch into the next 2 stitches. For the next row, we are going to repeat row 2 and row 3 into every stitch around until you reach the end of the row. Then I will meet you back again. After you reach the end of the row, then turn the ribbing wrong side out and we are going to make single crochet both sides together. After you reach the end of the row, then chain 1 and cut off the yarn. And this is what it looks like after you flip it back. Next, we are going to make the ribbing panel around the neckline. Turn the top and we are going to attach the yarn into the stitch that we made slip stitch. For making the ribbing panel around the neckline, I'm using 3mm hook the same. Then chain 8. Next, we are going to repeat the same thing like the bottom ribbing until you reach some few stitches away from the corner. Then I will meet you back again. After you reach the corner part, then make a slip stitch. For the next slip stitch, we are going to make slip stitch decrease. To make slip stitch decrease, insert the hook into the loop, yarn over and pull up a loop, then skip one stitch and continue insert the hook into the next stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop, then skip one stitch and continue insert the hook into the next stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop, and now you got 4 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all the loops. The purpose of doing this because this is the tip to have the ribbing at the corner parts not ruffle or got overalls at the corner part. Next, turn the work and repeat the same thing. The difference is at the slip stitch part. We are going to make slip stitch decrease for 2 or 3 more rows. For the slip stitch decrease technique, you can make decrease by make 2 loops on your hook, or 3 loops on your hook, or 4 or 5 loops on your hook. It depends on how curved you want. And this is what it looks like after I have made slip stitch decrease for a few rows at the corner part. You can see the ribbing panel is curved and without any ruffle. Next, we are going to make normal ribbing into this stitch without decrease. Just remember, we only decrease at the corner part. Keep repeating this around until you reach the end of the row. Then I will meet you back again. After you reach the end of the row, then turn the ribbing wrong side out and make single crochet both sides together like we did in the bottom ribbing. As you can see, when we make slip stitch decrease, the half double crochet stitch look a little bit ruffled, so you have to pull it a little bit to give a nice and straight stitch. For the next part, we are going to make the sleeves. For making the sleeve, I'm still using 3mm hook the same. To begin, attach the yarn into the corner part or into the underarm part. Then chain 2. For row 1, make half double crochet into every stitch around until you reach the chain 2 stitch. Then we are going to make slip stitch. Next, for row 2 until row 5, chain 2 and make half double crochet into every stitch around until you reach the end of the row, then make slip stitch. If you guys want your sleeve longer, please add more rows. After you reach row 5, next we are going to make the ribbing panels around the sleeve. Continue from where your last stitch is and chain 8. Next, for row 1, skip 1 chain and make single crochet into every chain until the end of the row. After you reach the end of the row, then make a slip stitch. After you have made a slip stitch, then skip 1 stitch and make slip stitch into the next stitch. So for this technique, it helps the ribbing panel smaller and fit around your arm. It is also called a slip stitch decrease, but it's not decreased too much like the neckline part because we don't want it too tight around the arm. Keep repeating this around until you reach the end of the row. Then we are going to make single crochet both sides together. And this is what the sleeve looks like. You can see it a little bit smaller. And you can use this technique to make slip stitch at the bottom ribbing, but just some few rows beside of your top, not make slip stitch decrease around. Next, for the remaining yarn, please use the knit needle to weave in. So your crop t-shirt is done. Next, we are going to make the flower. To begin, make a magic circle or magic ring. For making the flower, I'm using 4mm hook. Next, make 10 half double crochet into the magic circle. After you got 10 half double crochet, then pull this short strand of yarn tight to close the circle. Next, we are going to make slip stitch into the first half double crochet stitch. After you have made slip stitch, then chain 1 and cut off the yarn. Next, we are going to make the petals. To begin, attach the yarn into the stitch where we made slip stitch. then chain 3. After you have made 3 chains, then make 3 double crochet into the same stitch with chain 3. To make double crochet, yarn over, insert the hook into the loop, yarn over and pull up a loop, and now you have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and yarn over, pull through 2 loops again. After you got 3 double crochet, then chain 3 and make slip stitch into the next stitch. After you have made a slip stitch, then make another slip stitch into the next stitch. Next, chain 3 and make 3 double crochet into the same stitch with chain 3. After you got 3 double crochet, then chain 3. After you got 3 chains, then make slip stitch into the next stitch. After you have made a slip stitch, then make another slip stitch into the next stitch. Keep repeating this around until you reach the end of the row, then I will meet you back again. After you reach the end of the row, then flip the flower and make slip stitch behind it. Chain 1 and cut off the yarn. Next, we are going to sew the flower into the top. And now your crop t-shirt is done. If you like this tutorial, please don't forget to click like and leave a positive comment down below. Stay safe and stay healthy, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.